Yo, what's good? It's your boy Mafioso. Welcome to the Hive Hustle Podcast, your definitive source for street culture. We talk about crump, roller skating, dancing, DJing, anything hip hop and street culture. Anything that's inspired me, helped me grow, and it's a platform for people to be on. I appreciate you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do, and welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, let us all begin. Introduce a new approach to evolve and win. Taking lead, never stop, can't fall again. Took heed and watched who I called a friend. On a swivel, ain't none of this simple. Rather be at the table, conversing what's beneficial. Put in hard work, unapologetic with your craft. Yeah, the scars hurt, but I won't regret what's in the past.
What's good, man? I'm appreciative of y'all for tuning in. This is... I don't remember what episode it is. I'm not even going to try to do that no more. But it's an episode that you're watching. Yep. And today is a little different. My bros, Fries, Jay Fries is my producer, as y'all know. How you doing, bro?
I am fantastic. Happy to be here per usual. You know how it goes, man.
Perfect. We had some technical difficulties into the podcast for a while. I think I messed up a lens. Some other things happened.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. And so now we finally got everything dialed in. We Gucci. And today, Fries and my brother OMG wanted to interview me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You already know what time
so
it is.
I'm going to let them take over.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
Come
just
on now.
sit here and be a guy. So what's up, y'all? What the hell y'all want to know, man?
You already know we about to get into
You know we
it.
finna go crazy, brother.
Yeah.
Come on
I'm
now.
not looking forward to this.
Good. As you shouldn't. It shouldn't be nothing for you to look forward to. You've been a host for I don't know how long, man.
2 seasons.
And you
Or
ain't never been
5
interviewed.
seasons.
Like, nobody's ever asked, what's up with Maf? Who is Mafioso? Who is Jaquez? Now we finna find out. So, my question, first question, we don't need to do the introductions, who you are, where you from. Everybody and their mother knows who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, my first question, what was your introduction to dance? Not just the culture, not the Vegas scene, but dance in general. What
2
was
people.
Okay.
Dominique and Akeem. So I lived in a complex called Saratoga Palms on Boulder Highway in Indios, right next to the roller skating rink, which was called Crystal Palace at that time. I think I moved there when I was like 8 or 9, and I lived there for like 7 years. So in the early 90s, when you're like a kid, you didn't have a phone. We didn't have internet. We would go outside. So I would always go.
Nowadays.
These kids don't know nothing about that.
Bruh. And not only that, a lot of kids don't know that like latchkey kids were a thing. You going home from school, your parents not being there, and you literally having a key under the doormat so you can do this and get in your house, do your chores, and then go outside. That's literally my life.
Yeah.
So I would go to the complex next door across the street behind the Wells Fargo, which that Wells Fargo is still there. That's crazy. That's crazy work because this is over like 25 years ago.
Yeah, Wells Fargo's pretty established.
I understand that, but it's for one location to be there for 25 years,
that's a long
that's
time.
crazy.
Yeah, if you know Vegas geography, that's nuts.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
I do. So I'm the person that if you're driving with me, I don't use maps. I only use it to save time. I know how to get everywhere.
Yeah.
So I would go over there, and I met this dude named Akeem, and he was obviously, like, just to be frank, he was black. You know what I'm saying? He was my homie. We went to middle school together. We went to high school together. We also did graffiti together. But he knew how to wobble. He knew how to Harlem Shake. He knew how to do a Dougie. He knew how to do all of these things, like, back then. So I'm in my room learning how to do the baby freeze, learning how to wave, learning how to wobble, and this is obviously like 98, 99. This is like really early 2000s even. He went to high school with me too. And he was a clown dancer while we were in high school. Like there's a video on my Facebook of like 2002 of me and him standing in the courtyard of Chaparral High School, and he's battling the popular kids, and I beat this other kid in a wobbling match when I was like 16. So to answer your question, my first introduction was Akeem Jackson, which I've talked about that on this podcast. And like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know dance.
That's fire. Shout out to Hakeem. Also,
Yeah.
shout out to you for whipping the wobble off.
Come
The
on, bro.
weeble
I was
the
I
wobble.
was trying to hold it in. The
Yeah,
weeble
I was
The
wobble.
everything.
weevil wobble. You was doing what? You was
and then
wobbling?
to just piggyback off that, like after that, I walked into the skating rink because my mom said, "Look, it's Friday night. You're bugging the hell out of me. Here's $10. Go to the skating rink.
And you
It's
was
six
cool.
to $6 to get in. You got $4 to eat. Figure it out."
Hey,
And-
back then, that was plenty of money.
That was a lot of money.
Back then, that was, we eating, we having fun.
You could get 2 blunts off of a $5 bill.
That's crazy.
Back
bro.
then.
Oh my
That's
god.
Like, just to be honest,
I'm over here thinking about a bag of chips. And
I'm thinking about a blunt.
pizza slices. Nigga, you talk about blunts.
so, but basically, I walked in the skating rink and met Mecca. And Mecca was a roller skater, and he was also a DJ, and he was also like a choreography. He was in Culture Shock. So those two people were like Mecca and LeVar, which LeVar was the owner of Vegas Heat, and Mecca was in Vegas Heat, which that was the skate crew I was a part of.
Yeah.
And then you have Akeem, which was the dancing side. And Akeem went to the skating rink with me all the time because he lived in the complex next door. So that was my first introduction to dance in general. And then, you got served, Breaking, like Beat Street. Like, I watched all those movies, bro. That was all inspiration.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I wanted to get into, because I'm glad that you said a lot of that stuff, because you didn't mention much about Crump. So to get into the Crump side, we already know about Perry Street. We already know how that started, right? But some people don't know how long you really been doing this. You've been outside for a long time, just like that Wells Fargo building.
That,
You know what I'm saying?
That's what they should call him, Junior Wells Fargo.
I can't
So
with you.
I want to know, can you go through all the Crump names?
Oh,
either
God.
first your little homie names that people you've been under, and then all the names you've had for yourself as a big homie.
Okay. So my very first big lil homie name, I'll go through lil homies first. My very first lil homie name was Junior Chills. There was this guy in Vegas. It was like 2005. And I went to Perry Street because I walked to Sam's Town from my house to watch Rise at Sam's Town.
Yeah.
Sam's Town is on Flamingo and Boulder Highway. I lived on Indios and Boulder Highway. So it was one block. So I would literally
Down the
use
street.
my skateboard, go to the movies, and watch Rise. And I'm walking out of the movie theater, and I see everybody crumping. Craziest thing in the fucking world, bro. So
Yeah.
I just follow him. White guy following a bunch of, you get my point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I go to the session. This guy walks up to me. His name's Chills. And he's like, yo, like, I'm a crumper. I don't remember his name, like his like government, but I knew him as Chills, and I was Junior Chills. Then from being Junior Chills, I dropped that name because he stopped dancing. I became Junior Finisher, and Finisher was another dancer. Not Finisher now. I'm
Yeah.
talking FINISHER. He was like, this was like 2005 still. After being Junior Finisher, I stopped like trying to be under anybody until I met Lamont. And Lamont made me Kid Real in 2006. Damn.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I will be under Lamont for 20 years
Crazy.
in 2006. Mind you, I've never dropped from Lamont. Lamont has always been my big homie.
Yeah.
I always told Lamont that like he's my big brother, like my family big homie, and all of us that were under him, which a lot of people don't know, but Rada, he's twin real. Barrio, which is Saint, he's Soldier Real. A lot of people don't know that the real fam, like I'm going to Barrio's wedding on Sunday. Like we're all close, like friends. That's why Rada will come to our labs sometimes.
Yeah.
Because that's my brother.
Yeah.
Like,
y'all
you know what I'm
still
saying?
fam.
Like he was at my first wedding. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Of course.
Unbelievable. Sauce always working, man.
Man. And it's funny because it's a client and you're in the podcast, so we can't even answer it.
Yeah.
Dang.
So we'll just talk,
Message.
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. We'll talk to y'all. We'll talk to the client later. But no, the point I'm making is after Real, I got an opportunity to be under Styles. So I was Kid Fierce. Styles kind of brought the Real fam and brought them under him in like about 2008, 2007. I was Kid Fierce, then became Lil Fierce. Lamont was Twin Fierce. Rada was Twin Styles. So we were all under Styles. which that's why I call Styles one of my OGs.
Mm.
Then after that, Styles moved to Arizona, and a lot of us didn't know what we wanted to do. So me and Rada went under Crush, and I became Baby Crude in 2008.
Oh.
Nice.
And then I went to jail, and nobody in that fam talked to me the whole time, cared about what I was doing. So when I came out, I was mad. Immediately dropped my name. And then I don't know how long ago it was, but I ended up becoming Kid Crush after that. I ended up like squashing it and becoming Kid Crush. Then I became Lil Crush. So from 2008 to 2009, I was under Crush. And then literally, Crush will laugh about this, but I was throwing a session at Silverado Park, and there was a track called Bones Brilly, and I had it because Girl Crush at the time gave it to me, and I wasn't supposed to have it. So Crush dropped me at the session.
Damn.
Unreal.
And I wasn't Lil Crush anymore.
That's cold.
And then I became Boy Grizzy under Knucklehead at that time. So 2009, I became Boy Grizzy under Knucklehead. He dropped me because God told him to. Like a year later. Yeah.
Like God the creator?
Yeah.
not
That's a normal
us.
thing in Crump. Hey, man, God told me to drop you. You're not a part of the fam anymore.
That sounds like a piss poor excuse.
That's wild.
It was.
insane.
It was like that was the excuse that Crumpers used because they didn't like you anymore. And believe it or not, like I don't think anybody ever audibly heard from God that they should drop somebody from their fam because it's not even biblically sound, just to be honest.
Yeah.
So then after being under him, I took a 2-year break from being under anybody. But then I took I think it was like 2011. I took like a year break and I wasn't under anybody. And Simeon was really, really like tight to me. Like I loved his style. And so I approached him about being under him and he made me Junior Simeon. And he was Junior Mad Rip at this time under Tight Eyes. And he ended up having a baby, which I've apologized to him about this before, but he had a baby and he separated from the movement. And I dropped my name during that time and I felt bad about it because he was a really good dude. Like I felt like, man, like you're not really doing anything in Crump. Like I need a big homie that's active. And it was very immature of me at the time, but I didn't know. Like I was just trying to do the best I could for my Crump career. But me making that decision led to me being under one of my favorite big homies ever, which was Concrete. I became Young Concrete in 2012. And then that's when stuff started really shifting for me because Concrete was really big. Obviously, he was Street Kingdom. I was booking him in Vegas to teach at District consistently. And I was booking him, Yaya, Mad Hatta, all the Crumpers. So we just built One Round. So One Round was like a bunch of people that was a crew. So it was me, I was Young Concrete, Crooks, which was Baby B Dash. Then you had Kill Frankie. He's Kill Frankie now, but back then he was called Uproar, and he was under Spartan. He was Young Avenue under Spartan. So like you had 3 people that were main heads in Vegas that were under Street Kingdom members. So we stopped trying to be in Street Kingdom, and then we ended up being just our own thing, which was One Round.
Yeah.
After that, I became Junior Concrete. And that was like 2014, 2015. And I was killing.
We're still more than 10 years out, guys.
Yeah. And
So
then after I got dropped from being under Concrete because of Tight Eyes. I hear you. We talking.
Good.
So I got dropped because of Tight Eyes. Because Tight Eyes told me one time in my face, hey, Kevin don't understand. I want you to be Young Eyes. And I dropped my name under Kevin, and then shit went haywire. I'm not going to go deep into that because that's not nobody's business. But the fact of the matter is, since then, I haven't been under anybody since Slayer. And the only reason I was under Slayer was literally because Cage asked me to be under Slayer. And since then, I've been on my own since about 2016.
Sorry, ignorant question. Is Slayer Dragon?
Yes,
Rise? Okay.
he's the creator. And I told myself if I was going to be under anybody in Crump, it was always going to be a creator or 2 other people, Concrete or Beast, because I don't need a mentor. I'm not trying to say this as a cocky way, but there's a lot. You can't really name Crumpers that do what I do. Own a 6-figure business, have multiple children. My wife hasn't worked in 3 years. There's not a lot of people that can say they have accomplished that, and I don't say that in a cocky way. I say that I'm a kid from the east side that just made something happen. You know what I'm saying? But I don't need a mentor. I have a big brother for real. I need somebody that can teach me and tell me what the hell I'm doing wrong in dance. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I take privates. That's why I do the training I do.
Yeah.
Big homie names, that's quick. I was Gimmick, Virtue. That was my first two. Then I was Swarm, which Swarm turned into Swarm branding. And now I'm Mafioso and Carnage.
Nice.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah, you're really him, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's impressive. Like how deep rooted that is as far as the history is concerned. That's impressive. Like
And Gimmick changed in 2012 because Simeon was the one that helped me think of Mafioso. Because a lot of people don't understand the backstory. My family in the 30s and 40s was a part of a mafia group called The Outfit.
Oh.
And Nick D'Andreas was my uncle. He was a Chicago Heights police officer in the daytime and a mafia boss at night. That's where the whole Two-Face concept comes from.
Nice.
Business person in the daytime, mafioso at night. Two-Face, split personality, mafioso, Carnage. And before that, it was mafioso, Swarm.
That's fire.
You get my point?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
Tight.
No, that's dope, bro. Like I said, I feel like that's a lot of people, me included, did not know that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really dope to hear how your progression within dance and within Crump. And to caveat that for the final question for this segment, you know, you've been dancing, like you said, you've been under for real over almost 20 years. You know what I mean? So you've been dancing a long time. So at what point do you feel like you transitioned from kind of just like a typical street dancer to becoming a leader within our community? You know, because I feel like there is some way, fashion, or form you feel a rite of passage.
Yeah.
You know, so at what point do you feel like what moment did you feel that happened?
So
for
in
you?
2009, I had one of my biggest battles in Vegas. I battled Dahan, Jay Crush. He was Little Street Boy at the time. And Crush, he wasn't under Crush at the time. This is the one time, and Street Boy was Hitman, just so you know. And I got a phone call after the battle because somebody recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube on private and showed Crush. Crush called me and said, "Yo, you're the best in Vegas. You beat Dahan." And I was like, "What?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, man." And then after that, mind you, I was already throwing crump sessions. I threw my first crump session in literally like 2007. So I was already throwing crump sessions. What I did is when I started crumping in 2005, I was a sponge. I learned everything I could. And mind you, before crumping, I was a choreographer on roller skates. So I already knew how to perform. When I was roller skating in high school, I was on the Ellen Show. I opened up in our skate crew, we opened up for 50 Cent at the Summer Jam. We performed on Fremont consistently. So I was performing as a performer, smile, know how to like get a crowd in my teenage years. So when I came into Crump, it was now you have to learn the raw essence of a dance style. So I already knew how to perform. I just had to learn how to inform, so to speak.
Yeah.
I really had to learn who I was.
Yeah.
So when I got into Crump, I seen a need. There was people throwing sessions, but there wasn't people. Like, I met Lamont, and Lamont taught at dance studios. So I was like, okay, how the hell do we get Crump in a dance studio? Then I found 29 Street Dance, and that was the first dance studio that allowed me to teach in 2009.
Damn.
Jesus Christ, bro.
So I seen a need. So once I started teaching, by 2012, the Prodigy Training Center you see now, Kay, the owner, was in a studio called Summerlin Dance Academy, and she rented one room and had a summer program. That was it. And me, Joe Styles, Boogie D, Big Heartbreaking For Real were her teachers.
Heavy.
I was the Crump teacher in 2012 for all her summer camps. And that's how I got into the teaching bracket. When I started teaching, there was no other teacher in Crump in Vegas. Nobody taught classes. And how I learned how to teach a class was taking workshops. I seen how Concrete structured his class. I seen how Miho, Todd Eyes, all these people structured their stuff. So I feel, to answer your question, I think when I started teaching is when I started realizing, okay, there's a way to grow this movement. There's a way to stop keeping it from these 20 people that are crumping and we can maneuver. And then I started getting into the high schools. Like Diamond, Lil Encore, she'll tell you herself. In 2015, I taught at Chaparral High School at her class.
How crazy is that full circle? Is that your alma mater, right?
That's my high school.
Yeah.
Not only that, her teacher was a guy named BZ Beats, which is a DJ that was a part of the street dance scene, which was a B-boy that's in Full Force crew. So he was a teacher at the school, and he was also the dance coordinator. So he knew me and was like, yo, these kids need to learn how to crump. Come teach.
That's wild.
And then she turns into Young Rounds when we started Young Rounds, and now she's who she is. So I feel like, and then not only that, all of the Vegas people before me, they gave me veteranship. Dahan, Papa, Sean, Crush, James Lindsay back then, Cage, For Real. Like all of the people that, Styles, the people that came before me about 2012, 2013, maybe even it took some people, like when we threw the arc, like when I was 10 years in, they were like, okay, you threw one of the craziest events and you've been building. So there's no denying it. That's really what made me truly believe, like, okay, now I'm a leader.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's fair.
That's awesome, man.
Teaching and setting up a great event, and adding some value to the
to the movement,
culture.
yeah.
In Vegas specifically too. So yeah, that's a solid.
Yeah, it's a
reason.
lot of roots here, man. You got a lot of roots with within this scene and everything.
Yeah.
So
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take over, and we gonna go to a break. Watch this damn ad, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff you need to do, because I'm tired of talking.
Get some water.
We'll be
Drink
back.
Some Celsius.
I know.
Looking to level up your brand? Swarm Branding has got you covered. Whether it's graphic design that brings your ideas to life, web design that turns clicks into customers, print media to make a lasting impression, or pay-per-click campaigns that delivers results, we specialize in taking your brand to the next level. At Swarm Branding, we combine creativity, strategy, and expertise to create tailor-made solutions for your business. Visit us at swarmeverything.com or call 702-758-5591 to start growing your brand today. Swarm Branding. Let's create together.
What up, man? What up? We back.
Was good.
We back.
yeah.
But
welcome back.
I appreciate y'all for being here, man. This is a little awkward for me. I've told my story many times, but it's hard for me to be on the other side, so to speak. But I'm appreciative. So
He
what's
loved, he
next?
loved talking.
We're happy to have you, bro. It's good to see you not be the boss, if that makes sense. Like, and not in a sense of like we don't appreciate your leadership. It's every now and then. What did Andre 3000 say? Sometimes you got to come from behind the piano, let them know how to get down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
I'm saying?
For
So-
real does that all the time. It's comedy because he'll literally be like, I'm a DJ, but I could also get off on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So don't play with me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's also cool. Like a lot of us DJs, like For Real, Mahay, shout out to those guys. We started as dancers, right? So being able to connect with our community in not only a way of, well, we'll get off in a cipher,
Yeah.
but we also know how to throw the party. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that same principle should apply for you guys as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So especially because you're more so on the business side nowadays. So now we're going to get into the fun stuff, the flash questions.
Last question.
Dun, dun, dun. So my first question is, it's a simple one. Maybe simple. If you were not in Las Vegas, where would you want to be?
Chicago.
Chicago.
I want to know why.
That's why I'm curious.
That's my hometown.
True.
How long did you grow up in Chicago?
It don't matter.
True.
I lived there for
That's where
6
your
I
roots are,
lived
your
there for
family.
6 years, bro.
Okay.
The only place I would go is there. And the
Okay.
reason is because I would first and foremost bring Crump there. I know there's a Chicago movement. There's Shybuck for show.
Yeah.
But if I didn't live in Vegas, I would only live where I came from.
That makes sense.
I don't care about Arizona. I don't care about Cali. I don't care about Texas. I'm not the type of person, ooh, the economy is good, I'm going to move there.
Yeah.
Like, I've only ever known Vegas. I've
Yeah.
traveled everywhere, but I've only ever known Vegas.
So you're very deep on the roots, and
I care about your motive more than your motivation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's heavy.
And
All
my motive is always to be where home is. I know that I can call one of my uncles in Chicago and be like, yo, I ain't been here in 20-something years. Can you give me a rundown?
Yeah.
Where do I need to be? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do? And
Yeah.
my thing is I like to be places where I know people.
Mm.
So
I'm
if
the
I didn't
same
live
way.
in Vegas, I definitely would live in Chicago. I could see myself moving somewhere else. And me and my wife have talked about it, but we're definitely going to move somewhere where there's a crump movement, somewhere where I can feel like I can invest, and somewhere where my obviously business would thrive.
That's because
I'd never move.
You've never given the impression that you. Would
I'm
move from
never
Vegas.
leaving Vegas. I
Yeah.
told my wife that. Like, and my wife even told me, like, why would we never move? I'm like, well, first and foremost, our parents ain't coming with us.
Mm.
My mom and her mom would have to come with us for sure.
Oh yeah.
And secondly, if they're not coming with us, then and my company ain't making enough money to be able to take them with us, then we're in Vegas.
Yeah.
Secondly, I have like obligations here, business obligations here that I can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like half of my clients want to come to the office. I know Zoom. I know.
Too much history here.
Yeah, like, and that's my thing is like because I've built such a history and it's a rich history. There's no point in moving.
Yeah. If you
I
were
would literally
younger,
have to start over.
Facts.
There's only two reasons you could leave: is if you were younger and needed to start over, or if you're older and you
And you were done.
You're like damn near retiring.
Yeah, when I'm retired, oh, best believe I'm going to Cabo or something. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Kids
yeah.
is grown. They got their like Landon's running fucking swarm
Yeah.
branding. Like cool.
Video
Give
chat
me
your
my
little
distribution every month. I'm out, son.
Homies. Video chat your little homies.
You
see
feel
how they
me?
go.
Like
Yeah. Yeah,
Nah.
like the Jig Man video. Yo, it's a lab video. Show me what I got to work on. Tell you-
Like,
Yo.
Nah, but to get into the next flash question, I want to hit you with this one. I don't know if it's gonna be a quick, easy one or a fast, a hard one. But
Okay.
what are your top 3 dancers in Vegas?
dancers or crumpers?
Can I get 3 for both?
Okay.
All right.
Living in Vegas or veteran of Vegas?
Both are not separately, but overall.
Overall, okay.
Yeah.
Top 3 dancers in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Kid, John Buggs, and Jesse Sykes.
Easy. I agree.
That was the first top dome.
I agree.
And the only reason I say that is because if I can name your name like that, then you're my top.
Yeah.
Easy.
Crumpers, Junior Mafioso,
Boo.
Walau, and Steam.
Fair.
That's a little crazy on the crump side, because you would put. There's some big heavy hitters in crump.
You said my favorite. You didn't say,
He said the best.
No, I said
the best?
So those are your favorite. Let's hear the best.
The
Who
best
you consider
dancers?
the
Oh,
best?
shit. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
This is a little harder.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the
you
best-
did say top.
Yeah. The top
Okay,
3
so
dancers
best
in
3
Vegas.
dancers in Vegas.
That's a hard one. Now you
Jesse
gotta sit with
Sykes.
that. Now you gotta sit with
Jesse
that.
Sykes.
No. This.
Oh, okay.
He
okay,
went
okay.
back to the beginning because
Jesse Sykes for sure.
Yep.
I don't care. Nobody. Kid for sure.
Oh yeah.
I was just saying, yeah.
We
I
already
think
know.
those two make
Yeah,
sense.
that,
Books
the
don't
dancers.
battle,
The
so I get
dancers
it.
make sense.
I already knew. those
Best
names.
3 crumpers in Vegas.
Yeah.
You said John Book still, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Those
those
stay
two-
the same
Yeah.
because those, bro.
Yeah.
When it comes to resume and abilities, like, come on.
Yeah.
Crumpers, best 3.
Mm-hmm.
Steam,
There we go.
Walau, and the third one I would say Crush.
Yeah, that's fair.
Accurate.
That's fair.
Like, yeah, like those 3 on a good day, I don't see anybody else in Vegas beating them. Like, I lost to Walau. Like, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's not a lot of people right now that I could say in Vegas that could fuck with him.
So those are our 3 state versus anybody.
Me personally, if you're gonna talk about like Vegas veterans, like people that have been here over 10 years, yeah. If I wasn't choosing Crush, to be honest with you, I'd probably choose Dread.
Fair.
Dread is a solid
And
one
he could
too.
go both sides.
Yeah,
Like he can.
he
he's a
could be
hybrid for sure.
all styles and crump.
Yeah, Dread is definitely honorable mention in this list.
Yes, very
So
true.
he could definitely hit.
And if y'all get mad at me for this shit, I'm gonna be pissed.
Don't be mad. Just battle him.
yeah.
No.
If you have a problem,
If you
Why?
got
call
a
him
problem,
out.
not you. Not battle you. Battle the 3 on the
Oh,
list.
Yo, yeah,
don't
literally.
If you don't
comment
like
the
the
video
list, battle.
unless
him.
you call
Hey,
him
that's-
out.
If you want to make the list, you gotta beat the list.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Very true.
Come on now. And then my last question. This is gonna be a fun one because I'm curious where your brain goes with this. If you were not a crumper, what style
Popper.
would you choose? I had a feeling you were gonna say
He
Popper.
went straight into it, no hesitation.
I had a feeling he was
Go
gonna
ahead,
say
that a little
Popper.
louder for the people in the back.
Popper. I would pop my, not my bakes.
Hey, yo.
I would pop my body.
Pause, I was going something crazy. You about to
I
pop
can't.
what?
Yo, what?
Not my bakes.
Yeah. Not the cakes. Hold on.
Hey, yo. So what would
Hey.
your name be?
My name would still be Mafioso.
It wouldn't be nothing crazy. Like
No,
Pop
I'm
and
not
Moff.
popping Moff.
I mean,
no.
at least with that name, he could still wear the whole suit.
Hey, you could be Jack.
Hey.
With the suit on?
That'd be crazy. You could be Jack Boogie.
You know what's funny is when people were telling me that I should be under Todd Eyes, they were telling me to be Jack the Ripper.
That would have been. That would have.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That if I was battling you and your name was Jack the Ripper, J-A-Q the Ripper, that would be my first thought. I'd step in a circle. That's cute.
Hey, I could tell that that's your personality for sure.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that's it for the Flash questions.
All right, man. We're going to be right back. Watch this ad. Like, subscribe, do something.
We got to pay the bills.
Yeah,
We'll be
please.
back.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean to live the culture? At Swarm Brand, it's more than style. It's a movement. Born from the streets, every piece we create reflects the energy, rhythm, and soul of street culture. Bold graphics, fresh designs, each one tells a story of self-expression and individuality. This is more than just clothing. It's a lifestyle fueled by hip-hop and street dance. So are you ready to embrace the streets? Swarm Brand. Join the movement.
Yo, welcome back. We appreciate y'all for lasting this long if you're here. I'm having fun. I'm appreciative, guys.
That's what we like. We like hearing Moff having fun. This has been one of, I mean, I've only been here for what, 3 episodes?
Yeah.
But this is definitely one of my favorites. And I want to personally say this was my idea.
I know.
Like, I think
I want to take credit for
I
all
want
of
to
it.
take
Shameless
credit
plug.
for all of this.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people give you a hard time. They don't, because one, they don't really know you. And two, I feel like they don't take the time to get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had the pleasure and the privilege of getting to know you over the years. I want to say 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, my perception of you didn't always start like that.
Mhm.
And now that we're going to go into the deeper questions, we're
Mhm.
going to be able to dive in and touch on that, because the name Mafioso, when people hear it, a lot of people, they what's the word? What phrase could I use? They it makes the back of their neck itch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't like it too much.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think there's a lot of unfair judgment and things like that. And this podcast is really about getting deep and getting vulnerable. So I think at this point, my goal would be for a lot of people to drop that and really realize who Jaquez is as a person, as a father, as a mentor. You know what I mean? And give you some grace. You know,
Please.
like, because
I
that's
deserve it.
yeah, man. Because you've been doing a lot. I mean, even in a little bit of time we've been talking, you're heavily rooted in the community, man.
Yeah.
So, take it away, Vince.
All right. So I wanted to ask, because you already talked about who kind of got you started in dance.
Mm-hmm.
You've already talked about who your favorites are or who your top dancers in Vegas are, right?
Yeah.
Now I want to get into who are the people who impacted you the most. Now that you've been doing this for 20 plus years, who impacted you the most in person and through the screen, in both separately your dance right outside of Crump and then Crump specifically,
Okay.
and why?
For the past, I could say 13 years. Beast, for sure. A lot of people don't know, but I was supposed to be a beast for a very long time. I tried to be under him for a while. It just didn't click. I love him to death. And I booked him probably like 5-6 years in a row. Consistent workshops. He was a judge at plenty of my events. Look at my judge panel for the R&Bs.
I was just about to say that too.
Kid, bro, me and Kid battled in 2018 at an event, and I beat him.
Wow.
And I would never battle him right now. And he
Yeah.
knows that.
Absolutely not.
Kid's a whole problem right
Yeah. And the thing is I've seen him grow.
now. Mhm.
I've seen him grow into who he is now. Jesse Sykes. Like, Jesse is one of the most genuine people that I know that passes no judgment, will hold you accountable when you need to be held accountable. He will also make sure that, you know that he cares. For real. That's my big brother, man. He guided me through my divorce. He's one person that never, ever, ever switched up on me. And I've had people that have been friends with me for over 10 years tell me that I don't know how to talk to people and that I'm foul. But then when it really gets to the meat of the problem, they can't really give me a reason why they don't like me. That's been my biggest issue is like, why? What did I do to you? Or did you hear something that you didn't like and you never confirmed it? So the people that influence me through the screen, I hate him to death. Like, I don't like him, but I'll never deny dance ability. Todd Eyes.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my favorite dancers in life. Like, I learned his style. I learned from him. I took SLX after he still owed me money.
Damn.
Let's just be honest.
I mean, on top of that too, he had you drop one of your
Literally.
names.
Yeah. So in reality, I will always respect that man for who he is. How he does things and what he does, I don't respect. And that's what that is. But yeah, Jesse Sykes, for real, a Kid, Beast, Concrete. Those are people that really impacted me, man. Like, Concrete stayed at my house 3 years in a row for events. Like, on my couch. Stavana was living with me at the time, and she was sleeping on the other couch.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, Stavana's girl Mafioso. Like, so I've had a lot of people influence me, man. And in Vegas, like Vegas dance, like outside of the like crump or street dance community, B-Boy Ronnie's a big impact. Like, he's done amazing things for this city.
Shout out
You know,
Force.
Money Moves, District Arts. Like, a lot of people don't know the ins and outs of that, but District was on Tropicana and Spencer, and Las Vegas School of Dance and Music was on Flamingo and Durango. District Arts on Tropicana and Spencer was struggling, so he partnered with Las Vegas School of Dance and Music, and they made District Arts, because District used to just be District. And when they partnered, it saved both of them.
Amazing.
And then now they've built Zoologic. They've built all of those programs in their stuff. They've built everything. Same thing with Steve and Ninja Karaoke. Me and him might not get along all the time, but he's a true business owner that has true people working for him, that has an actual establishment. There's not a lot of people that they could say that have done that in dance.
Yeah, dance. There's not a lot of businessmen in dance.
Also, on
ones
top
that-
of that, it's also crazy to even say, like, you have a brick and mortar establishment
Yeah.
that was created because of your ability to dance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a lot of people don't understand that that's not easy to do. Like, the overhead is crazy.
oh yeah.
Like, the thought process of how much money we have to make each month, and we're offering great service, great quality product, everything. And that is the difference between being a solopreneur and having a physical location and having expenses. I have business expenses, and then I have personal expenses. I have to have two budgets.
It's a fact.
So yeah, but
you have your family. You have
yeah,
you-
but
you know.
that's the answer to that one, man. That's who really like inspires me in this city and outside of this city.
Yeah, I wanted to hit that because one, it gives you a chance to give flowers to some of those people that have influenced your career, and also for people that are trying to maybe emulate you. It gives them an opportunity to see where you came from, what made you who you are. Because
Exactly.
like I remember when I talked to Miss Prissy, she mentioned that a lot of people love tie-dyes, but they don't talk about the people tie-dyes used to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's people that you've watched that might have influenced who you became.
Yeah.
And if people want to learn more about you, they can also look at who you used to watch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact, bro. That's super heavy. Now, my question is the heavy question. So, like I said in the beginning of the segment, a lot of people, when you ask them about Mafioso, when you ask them about Jaquez, their face kind of curls up. They kind of get like a little twitch in their eye. I'm like, oh, this nigga. Or, oh, yeah, Mafioso. And to be fair, that was also me at one point. And I'm a grown-ass man and vulnerable enough to be able to say that I truly felt that way. And I don't know if I had all the information, but my reasoning was a couple years ago, I threw an event called Street Fight. This was my first event in Las Vegas. I was kind of trying to build my name out here as someone who throws events, who DJs, dances, and is a community man first.
Yeah.
So through the event, flew in some people. Essentially what it ended up being was Vegas versus everybody. Because I had a lot of Vegas dancers on the card. A lot of those guys had never had an exhibition battle before. And I flew in people that I knew and respected that also were veterans to this exhibition shit. And a lot of the Vegas dancers went crazy. You know what I mean? Like it was an awesome event. However, my thing is when it comes to that type of stuff, I'm a perfectionist. And I got word, because I remember you showing up. You showed up late. You came in super late. And my feedback that I got through the grapevine was, Mafioso was saying that, who the fuck are you to throw an event? You're not paying these people. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Who the fuck is this guy who thinks he can come in Vegas and throw an event? And I got pissed. And I never I've never had a conversation with this dude. This guy don't even know me. You know, if he were to ask, he would know that I went to everyone individually in person and said, hey, I have this vision. I don't have a lot of money, but I got access to this cool ass studio. I'm going to have food. It's going to be an experience. Nothing like this has ever happened in Vegas before.
Yeah.
And I want to be the guy to introduce it, and hopefully it grows into something.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe a year went by, and then I finally ran into you. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember saying to you, I got word that you had a problem with the event that I threw, and I don't understand why. And we had a conversation. We hashed it out. We got the details right. And from then, it was history. Now I fuck with this guy. This guy's awesome. He's got a great business. He's got a great family and everything else. So, but I took the time to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people do not. So my question within this deep part is, one, why do you feel like people have such a problem with you? And two, at what point did you become cognizant of feeling ostracized within your own community? Because you went from being a sponge to growing, to being a prominent dancer, to being a leader. And now to me, what I see from the outside looking in is it looks like a lot of people have jaded you and labeled you as a problem, a cancer, and have effectively elected to ostracize you from the community. At what point do you feel like you noticed it? And what do you have to say to those people that don't take the time to come out and figure out who you are and really establish what it is that they don't like about you? I know it's a lot, but
Fuck everybody.
hey, yo, that's fair.
I'm joking. Don't look at me like that, Wes. So this is very deep because first and foremost, you did exactly what everybody's supposed to do. You had a conversation with me. You asked me why I didn't like it. And if I remember, I'm just going to piggyback off of what you said. My impression of the event was different than what actually happened. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't know that you had a conversation with everybody. If I'm not, and mind you, my initial response was never like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
It was, hey, did he come to Vegas Vets and kind of get the okay? Because me growing up in this city, I had to get approval to do certain things. As a newcomer, you coming to a brand new city, I understand you wanted to invest, but it's good to get you had like some of the people that were on the lineup that were from Vegas weren't even from Vegas.
For sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So in reality, my thought process was, okay, well, if you're doing Vegas versus everybody else, just to be frank, why am I not on the lineup? Why is Walao not on the lineup? Why is Dredd on the lineup and Dredd's not even from here? So that was my thought process. It was more or
Right.
less like inquiring.
Yeah.
And that's what we ended up coming to the conclusion of. Now, the difference between you and everybody else is you had that conversation. This is what happens in Vegas, and I'm pretty sure this happens in street dance everywhere. You'll be out kicking it with some people, and you'll have a conversation, and somebody's name will get brought up. We do this sometimes, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did this yesterday with Crooks. Somebody's name got brought up, and we were like, oh, yeah. So whatever feelings that person has come out their mouth. And then what happens is that person that never heard about this person, never talked to this person, never seen this person in person, or they maybe rubbed shoulders with him at an event, now has a perception of that person. So people do too much of this, and that's what's happened with me. There's been people in this city that I've done dirty, bro. That's just the truth of the matter. I was growing up. I was a kid. I was 25, and I was throwing events that costed me $8,000. There's people that are 25 that don't even make $8,000 a year.
Yeah.
For the culture.
Do you get my point? The arc in 2015, bro, mind you, I was about to be 30 years old. I spent $11,000 on that event. And the only thing the crew was giving was $20 a month for dues. $11,000. So a person that barely is financially stable himself is throwing an event that's costing what some people make in a year. Now, I know that's very low. But if we look at taxes and we look at the government now, there's people that make $12,000 a year, $1,000 a month. So the point I'm making is like I was doing stuff on the fly, no college degree, no high school diploma. So I was just trying shit and falling. So when I fell, I got back up. And that's what people didn't think I was going to do. Every single time I fell, I got back up. And the moment that people started ostracizing me was when I got divorced. I was a Christian from 2006 to 2016. And I'm still a Christian. But I was a Bible-thumping Christian. I'm talking...
Holier than thou, one of those.
Yes. Not even just holier than thou, bro. I didn't listen to hip-hop for 10 years. I listened to Lecrae.
What an idiot. Just kidding.
No, seriously.
I know that all too well because the high school I went to was a Christian school.
Yeah.
And
So
that's what they listened to.
I was very out of the loop of reality for 10 years of my life. And the thing with me is that after that, I did what I was supposed to do. When I made a mistake, I made it right. The problem that we have is when I made the mistake, that person ran and told everybody. When I made it right, they didn't tell anybody. So the perception of me changed. And then fast forward to like 2018, 2019, 2020, after the pandemic. After the pandemic, I was with my wife and I had kids. So I wasn't around. So when I did come around and people were like, oh, Mafioso, if they heard anything, it was still bad because they don't know what I'm doing. Right. And then in reality, when it started ostracizing it, it's not even the fact of like I feel it when I go to events because I don't. I feel love. I feel support. I know people, so people say hi to me. I go to Ninja, and there's people that were crumping in 2006. There's two guys that are at Ninja every first Friday. They're called the Twins, and they were crumpers at Silverado High School in 2006. And they literally come to me and tell me every time, like, bro, you're an OG. Bro, we look up to you. And these guys taught me. Meek, Junior Mafioso, was one of my OGs and started working downstairs and told me, yo, I want to be a part of what you're doing. I want to be your little homie. It started off as Prince Mafioso, and now he's Junior. Awesome. So the fact of the matter is I had to learn that how you view me does not change how I feel about me. And that's where I shifted. When I learned that, like, self-worth matters, because I didn't do nothing to nobody in Vegas. You can't tell me for the past 8 years, since Swarm Brand was born, can't nobody say Mafioso did this and this is why I'm mad at him. Besides doing this. And my opinion is my opinion, and I'm allowed to state it. Like, for instance, we'll bring up a subject, that whole subject of those dancers sitting at the, while he was dancing. sitting behind him just watching. And I got on live with Jason Murphy, you, for real, and a couple other people that hopped in, and I stated my case. I said, look, you're not from the street dance culture. You don't know what hype does for somebody that's battling. So don't talk about it. Unless if you've taken a popping class, you've taken a freestyle class, you know the culture of these dances. I love Jason Murphy to death, but he is a choreography and an industry professional. That is different than knowing somebody like Jesse Sykes that can go into a popping circle and a popping event like freestyle session and do amazing and still go on the stage.
And then go to Carnival and absolutely rip it.
Exactly. And that's my point is like, I had to change and learn the raw essence of street dance to do this shit and to get my credit. Nowadays, you can learn off of TikTok and YouTube. I truly still believe that being in person with somebody is totally different than learning off of a screen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going off on a tangent right now, but the fact is like, not to answer your question, but to kind of rebuttal your question, so to speak, is I don't care what view they have of me anymore. I did at one point in time. If your view of me is that way and you haven't had a conversation with me, then you're the problem. Because you don't know me. If you follow me on social media, you're not my friend. You don't know me. You know what I post on social media, and it's a very skewed view. Because who lays with me knows me. And lastly, if you're not fucking me, feeding me, or financing me, I don't give a damn what the hell you got to say.
Here we go back to this. But you're right.
My wife, my business, fucking feed me, finance. My wife feeds me, and my wife fucks me, and my business finances me. Yeah. So if you ain't a part of those two things, and lastly, to answer this question, the fact of the matter is that the people in my home, their opinion of me matters more than any of these dancers in Vegas. You can ostracize me all you want, but the work is there. Let's be honest. June 6th, Swarm Takeover for Ninja Karaoke. There's not a lot of brands that are doing that. R&Bs. That's another thing. I'm teaching that culture shock. We have God's Crew, which we throw like our boy John throws a session every other Thursday. I bought the Vegas Crump belt. It's a Swarm brand sponsored thing. Like, I can keep going. Yeah. I have a guy sitting next to me that's been crumping less than 2 years. That's probably one of the best new gen people in Vegas. Easily. Like, the proof is in the pudding. And when you get to know me like somebody like Jordan or somebody like Vince or somebody like Wes, they can literally say, I've had problems with all three of y'all. And we've worked out through them. We either agreed to disagree or we came to a compromise and understood each other, and then we moved forward. Anybody that's brought an issue to me in the past 9 years of my life, either I accepted accountability and moved on and grown, or they didn't have actual facts. And their argument had sand under it, and it crumbled. And now they're not my friend. And that's the truth of the matter, bro. Sorry, I got crazy.
No, ain't nothing crazy about that at all, bro. Like, one, to touch on our situation, like, we've had this conversation before. You're not a confrontational person. I don't know if it's just because of how I grew up or whatever, but I am.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that's like, I do this with my wife at home, and it's not necessarily confrontational as aggressive. I want to fight.
Yeah.
Confrontational as in, apparently there's a problem. I'm trying to solve it.
And that's cool. The fact of the matter that you can say I'm a problem solver, that's amazing.
Exactly.
There's so many people that are like, this happened, this happened, this happened, this. Okay, that happened. What are we going to do about it?
Thanks.
Like, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry that you felt that way. But now what's the next step? Mm-hmm. That's the problem. What's the next step?
Exactly. And for us, it's producer. You know, for you and me, it's now we went from their disagreement to now I'm producing your podcast.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, too, even on to touch on the event side as well, it was like I wanted to give the scene that I am now a part of an opportunity to display against scenes that I've been a part of.
Yeah.
And bridge the gap for those things. And then there was some miscommunication, or just some people just like starting shit.
Yeah,
bro.
and that's the truth
Like,
of the matter.
that's what it could be too. Is like people just like starting shit, and I felt like at the end of the day, I don't know this guy. Y'all could tell me whatever you want, but I'm gonna find out one way or the other. I'm gonna find out if this guy's a piece of shit. All right, cool. Thanks for letting me know you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But if he's not, I'm also not gonna buy into the narrative of he's a piece of shit. Like, bro, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Mafioso is one of the nicest dudes I've ever met.
And
he's
misunderstood. And mind you, I'm just gonna say this facing the camera. He's been in my home. He's hang out with my kids. Our kids have hung out together. Our wives have each other's phone numbers.
Yep.
Like, this man has taken the time to get to know who I am. He has actually been a contractor for Swarm Branding before, and I let him go. And now he's sitting here on the podcast.
What an idiot.
I'm an idiot for sure. But the fact of the matter is, man, people are gonna say anything, they're gonna say something.
People just like attention too, and they like clout, and they like to. Some people, for whatever reason, have this belief that they got to put somebody else down
to get up,
build themselves up.
Crab mentality.
Exactly. And I'm from Baltimore, nigga. I know about crabs. Fuck is you talking about? But the thing is, like, I personally, I really wanted to bring this up because I feel like people treat you unfairly.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a city and in a system where there has to be justice.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't know what it is about. Like I said in the beginning, where I'm from, but we have to be just. There has to be justice when there's injustice.
Oh yeah.
And I feel now that I've gotten to know you over the last 4 some years that people are being unfair to you. And I wanted to take this to use your platform to not only showcase what a great person you are, but also allow people to see like y'all motherfuckers are wildin'. Like, I don't understand what it is that y'all don't like about them. And if you don't like people with strong personalities,
that's okay.
It is okay, but take a look in the mirror and realize like you're soft as hell.
Yep.
Like you can't handle that. You don't like people don't like me just because I have a strong personality and I come off strong. But the thing is ain't nobody gonna say that shit to my face.
Yeah.
That's the exact point.
So you're not
That's
gonna whoop
it.
me though.
Exactly, bro. And I'm big as shit too. Like it ain't easy, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm glad we were able to get this out into the airwaves.
Yeah.
Because now nobody has an excuse. Now you've put it out there. You've made it known that you're an open person. You're willing to take accountability if you've wronged them.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the door is always open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The DMs are open.
Bruh, message me.
Please. Actually, message the Swarm Branding page for the interactions.
Yeah, please.
So it shows up on the algorithm.
Do that.
All right, my bad, Vince. I
You
took a
good?
little
No,
bit.
that was good. So just to close this out, right? Change this to a lighter note, and to kind of go back into events and the next step, right? Let's talk about R&Bs.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about a lot more than R&Bs.
So I want to know what made you even think about doing an R&B event. What birthed that idea, and then close it out with all the upcoming dates for stuff you got going on, your workshop, the event, anything else going on to kind of let us know where we got to be at to see what you got going on.
For sure. Well, the R&Bs wasn't just me. So the first time I heard about an R&B event was my boy Boogie D. He was like, "Hey man, it would be dope if like we threw a all styles battle, but just R&B music."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I looked at him. I said, "Boogie D, if you don't do that, I'm gonna do it." Because I grew up on R&B, man. My mom's a lesbian. I know that's rough as hell.
Wait a second. Stop.
Sorry.
Stop.
Sorry.
My man went straight into it and leaned and said,
My
mom's a lesbian, by the way. Like, yo, what?
Hey, I
Shout
told
out to
you.
Mama Moth.
Hey,
man.
I told you. If you see my mom at an event, you know she butch as hell. Like, my mom knows it.
What
and
a
that's
sweet
the-
lady she is, though. I met
Bruh,
her
she'll give you
at
the biggest
Jason's
hug.
birthday.
Hi, how are you?
Such a sweet
You
lady.
know my son Jack?
Sure
Yeah.
Like,
do.
literally. Like, oh, you're his friend? Hi. Like, my mom's the nicest person in the world, but she grew up. I woke up Saturday morning to Whitney Houston every freaking day. Every Saturday. Like I want to dance with somebody. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
I grew up on Silk. I grew up on SWV. I grew up on R&B, like R. Kelly. Like, we know the case, but like, I grew up on that. Like I also grew up in the early 2000s where you had not just boy bands, but you had B2K, you had
Jagged Edge.
Jodeci, you had all these people. Like, you had all this stuff going on. So the
R&B
fact of the
was
matter
definitely
is
popping
like
back then.
that was bro, Ja Rule was like singing but rapping. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know anybody that did that before. Like Murder Inc. started a whole scene of that.
Yep.
Ashanti, Lloyd, like these are people. Tank, like Boys to Men. Like I grew up on all that. Jagged Edge. Like you know what I'm saying. Like even you go to the white guys, 98 Degrees. Like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Like. It wasn't R&B, it was pop, but they were singing. Like, Gone is a great song from NSYNC. You know what I'm saying? So, and then, like, I would see Crumpers talk, oh, you should lab to R&B. You should, and I was already doing that. The first Crumper I seen talk about it besides me was Ruin. He would post videos. You remember this time, Wes. He would post videos of, like, him dancing to R&B music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like this. And then For Real showed me this mix that he made of R&B mashups. And it was over. The first Battle of the Bees was not an R&B event. It was called the Battle of the Bees. And so that was the first event. It was like $200. It was in between One Round and Swarm Brand. And so Swarm Brand just started. The Battle of the Bees logo was like the battle in like a cursive of the bees with two bees. It was the very first logo. It was 2018. And Lamont was the DJ. And then the next year, it changed to the R&Bs, what you see with the logo you see now.
Nice.
And then we threw one in 2019. We didn't throw one in 2020.
COVID.
We threw one in 2021 because Lamont moved to the East Coast. That was the biggest one. And
to date.
No. And well, it was like to me, that was the best time for my event. Like I had the greatest time there. 2022, I tried something different. I tried to do the Hive, which was an R&B experience. I had R&B performers. I had R&B showcases. I had R&B battle.
Nice.
It was all like
Very
I had a
nice.
food truck and everything.
Yeah.
But it was the weekend of EDC.
Damn.
Cooked.
So it was done. I was like, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
So then 2023, I threw one, and it was great. Jesse Sykes was a host. That was the first one that Jesse Sykes hosted. And then I started building my team. But I don't believe in throwing an event if I can't pay people correctly.
That's fire. Take notes.
I don't want to pay you $50 to judge. Your time is worth more, especially if you're a dancer.
For everybody hosting, yeah, definitely want to.
I don't want to pay
Write
you.
that
I don't want to pay you $150 to DJ.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, bro. That's if you're DJing for 4, 5, 6 hours. Say 6 hours. That's like $20 an hour.
Yeah.
It's like 20, like
25 an hour.
yeah. Like I'm not doing that. Like if I can't have at least $250 to pay each of my people, I'm not doing it.
Fair.
So if you think about it, 3 judges, a host, and the DJs are more expensive. We know that. So you're looking at just for guests, 3 judges, a host, and DJs. 3 judges and a host is 1,000. Then you got a DJs at least 500 each.
Yeah,
so you got
so
2 G's
2,000
right
right
there.
there, yep.
Then you got a $2,000 prize.
4.
4. Then you got a venue. Then you got marketing materials. Then I'm not
55,
just doing
6,000.
like I'm probably spending 5, 6 on this event. So if I don't have that, I'm not doing it.
Easy.
So 2024, I didn't do one. And then this year I'm doing one.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, outside of that, like the R&Bs is just something I love, man. And like I said in my video that I posted where I was speaking about it is in 2018, 2019, the battle scene was very, very aggressive. Like a lot of people didn't like each other. People were fighting. There was problems. Even in 2020, like all through the pandemic, bro, there was so much crap happening in Vegas. People got caught up. Jesse Lee Santos went to prison because he was messing with kids. Like we had a lot of bullshit happening during the pandemic and right after. Like a lot of people forgot, but Farside got canceled. AOV got canceled. Like there was that whole AOV Vegas. I was the leader of it.
Wow.
And then Farside and his girl get put on blast. And me and my wife are both like, well, what the heck do we do? I was at Farside's house lapping with him.
Crazy, bro.
So like this is all you got to think about it. Like all of these problems are happening in the scene, and I'm like, there's got to be some sort of like way we can uplift each other. And who the hell doesn't like R&B music?
Weirdos. That's who.
Literally. So that's what happened. To close it out, a lot of things are happening in the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
Let's get the dates, the times, locations.
So May 28th. No, tonight.
Oh,
Even though this is
it'll be posted.
Even though this is going to be released tomorrow, but tonight is Cages versus Mafioso Carnage, fam, at the Hype Street. Shout out to Relic for those throwing that. Then we have next Wednesday, which my boy Jay Fries is DJing.
Yes, sir.
The pop-up. Hybrids crew, they're amazing. I've watched Reese grow up. He was on my podcast. Jesse Sykes is an amazing person. Jam is freaking like, that's my bros. They're throwing the pop-up, which is, if I'm not mistaken, it's an all-style 7 to smoke.
Yeah, so to help with that, so I don't believe it's a 7 to smoke. It's an all-styles tournament.
1v1.
1v1 all-styles tournament. Or 1v1 freestyle tournament. And then there's also an invite-only Crump versus Flex.
Yeah. For 700,
so
right?
Yeah, so my understanding is the way they're going to do it is there's going to be a top 8 for the Flexers, top 8 for the Crumpers. They're going to get to top 4.
Okay.
And the top 4 Crumpers and the top 4 Flexers
Battle each
are
other.
going to do a gauntlet for like 20 minutes straight.
Got it.
And
like kind of like a 7 to smoke situation, but it's 4 and 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like kind of like how they do at Red Bull as well, where they have the B-boys and they just go.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that was
It's book.
a crazy idea.
It's a crazy concept.
I got so much music.
Amen.
It's nuts.
Amen.
Like shout out to Vinnie Mac over here for the Crump plug.
Let's go.
I'm gonna be pulling up to the Hype Street tonight to also steal some music, but also watch Mafioso fam absolutely cook. Cage fam, no disrespect. Shout out to Cage fam and all that.
We'll see what happens.
But I have a vested interest in the Mafioso fam.
So that's next week. Then the week after that is the first week of June, because June 1st is on Saturday.
Correct.
Then that Friday is Ninja Karaoke, which I'm putting $150 in the pot. So the price is gonna be $250. I'm gonna have my booth out there. And then at the pop-up, we're going to have a booth, and we'll have all the new stuff. And then that's first Friday. So if I'm not mistaken, Bloom Boogie, Tempo, and Arsenal are the judges for first Friday.
Nice.
I wanted to use 2 of my invites because Bloom Boogie and Tempo are both invites for the R&Bs to kind of like coincide.
Very nice.
And then Arsenal's he's an amazing dancer, man. Like, why not? You know, and he's from the East Coast, so it'll be out of the box vibe. And then Bloom Boogie is from Arizona, so she's a woman, so she'll be the feminine side. And then Tempo's from Vegas, and he's from here.
Yeah.
So, and then Saturday, which is June 7th, which is the R&Bs, we have 8 invites. We're going to a top 24 from the prelims if we get more than 24 entries, and then $2,000 prize. First place, 1,000. Second, 500. Third and fourth each get 250.
Very nice.
And then it's gonna be amazing. And then that Monday is my start of my workshop series at Culture Shock. So I'll be doing a workshop once a month at Culture Shock.
Wonderful.
And I just got a text message from an amazing person today to add to that. Paula from Carnival messaged me and said that I am now going to be performing on July 8th at Carnival in Vegas. So if you got a problem with me, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But on a good note, this has been amazing, man. I'm sweating.
Yo, nervous.
But this has been amazing. I'm really appreciative of you guys even thinking about like interviewing me. You weren't the first person to think about this. I just kind of folded finally. And I'm appreciative of it. I hope you guys got some good insight on who I am. I might make this like an actual featured video in YouTube so that way people can actually see who the hell the actual host is of the podcast.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff you need to do. We are here. We're not stopping. We're going to continue to go. Shout out to my bro Vince. Shout out to my bro Jay Fries. And we'll see y'all next time.
Remember, guys, it's about the women. Don't forget.
The women's.
The women's in them.
We'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Hive Hustle Podcast. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Also, follow our partner, Swarm Branding. We'll see y'all next time.